Hi you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with another weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness. This week we are going to be talking about the toxins in your home that are disrupting your endocrine system or disrupting your natural hormone production. We're going to talk about what that means, because a lot of times when our hormones are disrupted or negatively impacted, it will trickle down into other areas of our wellness and our health and our just well-being. So this is something that is really important, especially if you have kids in the house, because their hormone production can be altered and disrupt things like development and things that are still growing within their body and their systems. So we're going to go through some slides and take a look at what these toxins are, where they're found, and how to avoid them in your home. But I'm also going to cover how you can start healing your body from this hormone disruption and these endocrine disrupting toxins. Did you know that a healthy endocrine system function is actually one of the pillars of a healthy body? Well, it is, and our endocrine system is actually an amazing system as it supports and works in harmony with our other organs. But our endocrine system function can be easily altered and disrupted based on what we eat, the products we use, and the environment that we put our bodies into. For a long time, I actually had no idea what a healthy endocrine system function was. I knew very little about my own health and wellness, other than I knew I wanted to eat somewhat healthy and exercise. And over the years, while I learned more about various toxins in my own home and in my own arsenal of beauty products, the term endocrine disruptor kept resurfacing. And still, I didn't really know what it was other than it was bad news. It wasn't until just a few years ago that I really started to understand that the endocrine function and the endocrine system as a whole supports many of the systems in our body that work together to keep us healthy. So even more, I saw how important a healthy endocrine system was in keeping my kids healthy. I think that understanding a healthy endocrine system is one of the best ways to help yourself when it comes to a healthy house. I often talk about the facts that each of us needs a why in our corner that spurs on our healthy changes. And if your body's biggest health component isn't a why for you, I really don't know what is. So first, let's talk about what the endocrine system is and how it works. The endocrine glands produce and release hormones into your bloodstream, and the hormones produced then travel to all of your cells. These hormones are responsible for controlling things like mood, growth, and development. They also play an intricate role in how our other organs function, as well as the reproduction of cells. Healthy endocrine system function means the hormones send signals to various tissues in our body, telling them exactly what they're supposed to do. And when the endocrine system doesn't produce the right amount of hormones, or there is endocrine system disruption or hormone disruption, diseases actually develop within the systems of the body. The endocrine system directly controls the levels of various hormones such as melatonin, insulin, estrogen, and the thyroid, just to name a few. While there are over 50 different hormones that have various functions throughout the body, each one plays a serious role in our health and wellness. A healthy body and endocrine system function means that our body is functioning as a whole on a more natural level. So just because I think it's super eye-opening, I am going to show you a list of 16 major hormones and their functions within the body. So when we start to look at this list, we can see things like our heart rate. You can see that development is a huge part of this, and our hormones control and contribute to all of these different systems within our body. When we look at melatonin, we see that our sleep cycles are deeply affected. And a lot of these are systems that are very important to development in children. So this list really points to the body's reliance on a healthy endocrine system to perform and be in a state of health and wellness to benefit our body. So how does endocrine disruption work? What is a taxed endocrine system? Many of the toxins in our environment get absorbed into our bodies. And once absorbed, some of these chemical toxins act as endocrine disruptors, which can do one of three things. So first, it can decrease or increase normal hormone levels, making them abnormal. 2, it can mimic the body's natural hormones. And 3, it can alter the natural production of hormones in your body. So because the endocrine system is finely tuned, just a small change can affect the body in a really big way. And while perhaps contact with one small endocrine disrupting chemical may not make a huge impact, in today's world, we are bombarded with many different chemicals that tax our endocrine system. Endocrine disrupting hormones have obviously affected us in areas like the reproductive system, thyroid, and our sleep function, but there's also a trickle-down effect that takes place as our systems begin to function improperly. Other side effects of hormone disruption and taxing the endocrine system so that it doesn't produce hormones in the correct amount has been directly linked to the immune system. And this correlation between a decreased or compromised immune system and endocrine disruption trickles down to our metabolic health. So specifically, we have seen a rise in autoimmune diseases such as diabetes. An article that I read a while ago shows that the endocrine disruptors are metabolized differently by our gut microbiota, which can alter the absorption and distribution of the chemicals in the body. So ultimately, this leads to various types of inflammation in the gut and other organs. And I mentioned this before, but many of the studies conducted about endocrine disruptors are performed in children. And I am sharing a set of studies on the blog this week that link endocrine disruptors to ADHD, obesity, diabetes, and issues with puberty and development. And what's really alarming, I think, is that even before babies are born, they are coming in contact with endocrine disruptors that are actually affecting their system and how they will perform over the course of their whole life. This is why it is especially important to be aware of what we're eating, the products we're using, as well as our home that we're surrounding ourselves with. So some of the big endocrine disruptors in your home, the first one is parabens. So this is probably the most commonly talked about endocrine disruptor right now, and it's parabens. It's a preservative used in many personal products like lotions, hair care, toothpaste, deodorants, and shaving creams. You also want to watch out for phthalates. This is found in plastics, nail polish, hairspray, and fragrance. Phthalates are a big player in the endocrine disruptor space. And if you look around your home, you can see many plastic products you come in contact with every day that probably contain phthalates. Fire retardants are found in furniture, carpet, mattresses. Baby and kid products often have fire retardants in them as well. PBDEs, a type of chemical flame retardant, contribute to endocrine disruption as the tiny particles from these home items can end up in our dust and eventually in our airways or ingested. Bisphenol A is a detriment to healthy endocrine system function. But to be honest with you, so are all of the bisphenol toxins. This would be BPS, BPB, and other B toxins that have started to replace BPA in products. Essentially, almost any plastic product from baby bottles to household products contains some soft bisphenol toxin. And then finally, PFCs. This toxin is in stain-resistant applications and waterproofed fabrics and textiles such as carpet, furniture, and drapery. It's also the chemical found in Teflon and nonstick pans, which is why we really try to avoid those. So while some issues with the endocrine system may be permanent or require medical intervention, which I'm going to share with you in the blog post this week. I have some great resources that can help you on that route. Most of us can reduce the burden on the endocrine system and start to see an improvement in health and wellness right away. So first, removing environmental pollutants that we discussed here will immediately remove a large burden from your everyday life. Start with simple changes like reducing personal care products with chemical toxins in them like parabens and phthalates. One of the best ways you can eliminate a large grouping of endocrine disruptors is by removing fragrance from your home. This means anything from scented candles to air fresheners and perfumes. These most commonly contain parabens and phthalates and do not need to be disclosed to the consumer. Eliminating fragrance could mean removing your largest contributor. You can also focus on eating a more natural diet, especially one rich in healthy fats. It can go a long way in supporting healthy hormone production. Adaptogen herbs have also been known to have a positive effect on the body in terms of natural hormone production. And while we're talking about diet, reducing dairy is another beneficial way to allow your endocrine system to heal. Dairy typically contains many natural hormones that weren't intended to be combined with our body's hormones. So while you're at it, you can also eliminate anything processed or artificial, which contributes to endocrine disruption. And then sleep and exercise are also part of a healthy endocrine system function. Getting the proper amount of sleep and getting daily exercise can help improve function by reducing stress and increasing serotonin. And as for exercise, it could be something as simple as a walk, or it could be yoga or high intensity training. Not all exercise is going to be right for each person. So finding a type of exercise that leaves you refreshed and energized is the key. So as always, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I am here every week with a healthy house tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and your wellness.